Hey guys, and welcome to another Tower Fantasy video. So over the weekend, it was officially announced that we will not be getting Marc and Bayuki for the global version because of copyright barriers. So in this video, I will be going over how this affects the global meta. A lot of other channels would have probably explained why Bayuki being CN exclusive is bad for global, especially for Volt units. So instead, in this video, I'll be talking about why having Marc as a CN exclusive is a big drawback, especially for tanks. I predicted that this would happen, but it's still unfortunate that we won't be able to get access to these characters since they hold a very special place in the meta, at least for the CN version. If you didn't know, defense or tank units actually have the least options for weapons or simulacra. In the CN version, they currently have 14 SSR options for DPS, 4 SSR supports, and 4 SSR tanks. But since Marc will not be releasing globally, we only have 3 SSR defense units to play around with. And the worst part is, the one defense unit we don't have access to happens to be the best one. Instead of me reading out his skills and abilities to you, I will leave a link down in the description to Tower Fantasy Index, so you can take a look at it yourself if you are interested. But the TLDR is that he has insane abilities that make him the best option for tanks. He might not be the best at chatter, but he has very high charge rating, and he is by far the best one when it comes to dealing damage as a defense type unit. Marc lets you run a very powerful physical tank team, which consists of Marc, Lyra, and Saki Fuwa. And he also lets you play a very strong balanced team with Marc, Lyra, and Lyn. So knowing this, and knowing that we won't have access to Marc, the main thing we can do is save for the best units that will be coming in 2.0 or later versions. And the two characters that first come to my mind are Saki Fuwa and Lyra. If you are able to get both, that would be great, but if you are a free-to-play or a low spender that can only afford one guaranteed unit, I will be going over both of these units to help you make a decision on who to pull for. Do keep in mind that we will mainly focus on their utility and team compositions, since the damage and stat values are subject to change once they make their way into global. And as I always say, if you have a strong preference for a specific character because you like their design, voice actor, gameplay, or whatever it is, go with that character because fun is always over meta. But with that said, Saki Fuwa and Lyra are really strong options not just for tanking, but as individual units as well. But there's a few things that you need to keep in mind before pulling for them. Saki Fuwa is an excellent defense unit that has S tier shatter in her CN version. She works really well in a full frost team, which consists of Saki Fuwa, Meryl, and Coco Ritter, providing all of your weapons with a 20% damage buff. And if you want to switch things up a bit, you can also use her in other team compositions with a different weapon resonance, so that her skill will switch to her Surging Heart style, which will basically give you lifesteal for your attacks. If you ask me, she is definitely a must-have if you are a tank main. But there are a few things that you need to consider before going for her. For one, getting Saki Fuwa means that you potentially have to take out your Huma from your build to slot in Saki Fuwa instead. So if you already have invested in your Huma's advancements, it can be quite hard to recommend Saki Fuwa since she pairs better with other Frost units, and a Huma with higher advancements will possibly be better than 0 advancement Saki Fuwa. So depending on your preferences and how you want your future weapon build to look like, Saki Fuwa might not be the best option for you. I would say that if you are already running a weapon set with Huma, Meryl plus a DPS weapon, Ruby is a better option for you if you are mainly using Huma as your main DPS. Ruby will give your Huma a 20% damage increase through her elemental resonance, and she will also have a grouping ability in solo play, which can be useful in things like the Bagan Phantasm. You can still use Saki Fuwa with Huma plus a healing weapon, but you will be missing out on the benefits of her Frost Resonance since you won't have a damage dealing Frost weapon to boost up. But there is one exception. If you happen to have high advancements on your Huma and Meryl, you will be able to comfortably slot in Saki Fuwa to run a triple defense team. Because when you look at Meryl's and Huma's advancements, they give you insane additional protection and a decent amount of HP restoration, making it so that you don't necessarily need to have a dedicated healing weapon in your build. Meryl's first advancement increases your shatter damage and restores 10% of your HP every time you break the enemy's shield. And her third advancement will give you a shield after switching to her weapon, and both her second and fourth advancements will increase your HP. And when you look at Huma, she doesn't have as many self-sustain or defensive advancements, but if you happen to have or are looking to get her 6th advancement, it will also help you sustain your own without a dedicated healing weapon. So overall, Saki Fuwa is a really good option, and optimally, she needs to be in a team with Meryl or Frigg to get the most value out of her kit, especially for tank teams. Lyra on the other hand is a physical support unit who is arguably the best option for a healing weapon. She can do insane damage while being able to give you consistent healing through her normal attacks, which are very frequent to say the least. You can fit Lyra in any team composition just like any other support unit, so you won't have any caveats similar to the ones with Saki Fuwa. She also has the benefit of being the best at getting stacks for your Samir matrix and your Samir character trait. So if you are using any of those for your build, Lyra will really help you out to activate those. There is really not much to say about Lyra. She is pretty broken in the CN version. The insane amount of damage, shatter, and healing output she has makes her a really strong unit. So with that said, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets nerfed for her global release. If anything, I can see her shatter rating getting reduced since she currently has a 12 on her CN version, and I do feel like it is very high for a unit labeled as a support. If her values stay somewhat the same as her CN version, she is definitely a must-have for any player looking for a healing weapon, especially for physical teams. So yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video about what I think are the 2 best alternatives for Marc for tank teams. I will be doing a more in-depth guide for every future character, so make sure to stay tuned for that. With that being said, if you found this video useful, don't forget to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.